You guys, welcome to the vlog. This is going to be our intro because the way that I was driving home just now and I couldn't see anything. Mind you, Houston's going through another storm warning. I don't know what storm it is. I'm in the middle of a flash flood. And I was not finna die until I had my Chinese food. Like, I was driving and I was like leaning over I couldn't see anything. And my car, it's out here smelling good. It smelled like Chinese takeout. And I was like, I need to pull over. I need to pull into this residential neighborhood and I need to get my last meal because you've got me 10 times messed up if you think this is going to be my last drive on earth and I don't finish my food. So I pulled over, y'all. I don't care. This is my last meal, be it my last meal, but I wasn't finna die hungry. It's not. That's ridiculous. Okay, what was I saying? Welcome to the vlog. This is being filmed on my phone right now, so if the color has changed from what gets filmed on my camera, my bad. But, I needed a break from summer weed. I'm gonna be honest, I've been scared. I've been experiencing a lot of emotions, and a lot of those emotions have been like tension. I don't know what's around the corner. I don't know what's under the bed. And there's only so much that a person can take, you know? So, we're doing something a little different this week. Well, not different to me, but different to the Summerween, marathon that we have going on. But I wanted to kind of stay in theme. We're doing a romance reading vlog, but it's the omegaverse. It's only werewolves that we're reading here. Now, I've chosen 3 separate books to get done during this little omegaverse little gander that we're going on. I've chosen The Fake Make by Lana Ferguson. This one is fake dating with somebody that you hate, like a coworker, hate, fake dating, enemies to lovers-ish. And then I've also got at home Ali Hazelwood's Bride, which is Marriage of Convenience, and I believe we get vampires and werewolves in that one. And then, well, not these people's seasoning. If you live in Houston and you want bad Chinese, when I say bad Chinese, I mean Panda Express Chinese, you know? Go to Rice Box, because they don't be playing. This little bit here, they finna stuff it to the top. You know how when they fold the box and it'll be a little, they're not playing around at Rice Box. And they season. Get medium spice. Don't get no spice, because they don't season when you get no spice. When they see you check the no spice box, they're like, oh, this person is Caucasian. You feel me? They smell the caucasity when you put no spice. So let them know that you can handle it, that you've got flavor and you've got depth. Medium spice or high spice. I don't be playing around. I'm not trying to burn. I ain't got no water in this car. So I said, medium spice, please. And they said, let's put our Badusi in here. What was I saying? I told you about Ali Hazelwood, right? I've got that book. And then I also have a omegaverse book that is like I believe she's a shifter and she solves crimes. Now this one is a book that was written in the 90s. So this is classic omegaverse. This is the origin of the origin when it comes to the omegaverse. And I'm interested to see what she's got going on, because one thing that Ali Hazelwood is showing the girlies is that when you meander your way into the monster romance, you're meandering into a world that's got different anatomical space, you know. That's what monster romance gives you. Because here's the thing, you guys, here's the thing. The female body is so beautiful and so amazing and so unique, right? And due to the beauty and amazingness of the female body, a single cylindrical thing going forward and backwards aggressively in this beautiful temple isn't doing everything it could, you know? So when you step into monster romance, you're not just dealing with forward and backwards cylinder. You see what I'm saying? Trying to keep it YouTube safe, but I do believe Ali decided to step into the anatomical world. I don't know what Lana Ferguson is doing. I also don't know what that other lady is doing, but I needed some fluff. I can't keep being scared. We'll get back into summer lean maybe next week, but I can't do that, y'all. I really can't. And you know what's so crazy? I've been saving all the ones that I think would be like the scariest for last. And so as I see my pile going down, I'm now in the second half of books that I've been avoiding the ones that I think will be the scariest. I'm not doing it on purpose. No, I'm doing it on purpose. I'm scared. I have nothing to say about that. What else do I have to say to you guys? I think that's it. The rain's slowing down. I'm over here just stalling because I just want to... They got little pieces of like fried scallion in here, y'all. Chef Gordon Ramsay. Let me take 2 more bites. Let's get back on this road. Let me take 3 more bites, actually. Let's get out these people's driveway. I know there's like, what is that little black doing in our drive? I know they're saying it. I know they're like, is that a black person sitting in there? Show is. It show is. Come get a bite of this Chinese food. Over here like, was that a little black boy? Because you know they can't see from the neck down. They can only see here. They're like, is that a little black boy out there? Sure is. I was on that road scared, y'all. I've earned a little bit of omegaverse. Let me put this down, y'all. Let's get back home. Let's try this again. I literally made it 3 minutes, and I was like, look, we need to pull over. I'm a bad driver too. I didn't pull over for my safety. I pulled over for your safety. All right. I got the motivation. I got a bean sprout. What's at home?
Hey, happy Sunday. I'm not gonna lie to you. I finished The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson, and it made me physically ill. I was so ill after reading this book that I considered canceling this video idea and just scrapping that I was filming this weekend because it was so horrible that I was like, I've had enough omegaverse for the rest of my life. That's how I felt. But my mama ain't raised no bee. So I'm gonna continue the video. I just needed some time. It's literally 1 in the afternoon on Sunday. I slept in, I got some time outdoors, I made some breakfast, and I'm back in it. But first, let's talk about The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. So you open up, I'm sorry, it's horrible. So you open up with Mackenzie. She's on the phone with her grandmother, and her grandmother's like, when are you finally gonna bring a man over? And Mackenzie is like, Grandma, stop, leave me alone. I've had so many bad days. Her grandmother is not trying to hear any of that. And so Mackenzie, just to try to end the conversation and go on, she was like, actually, I'm dating somebody. And her grandmother's like, well, who? At that moment, her coworker Noah comes in. And Noah is known as the meanest, snappiest, most evil doctor in the hospital. And she goes, yeah, I have a boyfriend, Grandma. Oh, his name is Noah. And she's like, I gotta go, Grandma, bye. So then Noah, he's in the break room with her, and she's like, hey, so crazy thing just happened 3 seconds ago. I told my grandma that I'm dating you. Can we be fake boyfriend and girlfriend? Pretty please. And Noah's like, funny you should ask. This is perfect. I need a fake mate. It got out that I'm an alpha wolf, and due to all of the prejudices against alpha wolves and their possible temper tantrums and possible anger, the hospital board would prefer that I mated. So you want to be fake boyfriend, girlfriend, let's be fake mates. This benefits me because I won't lose my job due to the prejudices of an unfaded alpha. And it benefits you because if you carry my scent, you won't get hit on, your grandma won't pressure you. I'll pretend this is so great, right? Then the next 100 pages, all of the fake dating agreement happens in the first 5 pages of the book. These two people are complete strangers, and they're immediately fake boyfriend, girlfriend, fake dating situation, right? And then, hey, hi. So then, you can come sit down next to me. Come on. Come sit down. You guys sit down. So then, the next 100 pages are these weird, like, awkwardly spicy hug scenes. Because she needs to be carrying his scent, that's part of the agreement, and everybody knows they're dating if she smells like him, right? Because werewolves have their specific scenting type things. She and him, like, meet in a closet so that they can hug, because since werewolves all carry their specific little scents, she needs to smell like it. And when I tell you, these hug scenes are so unnecessarily spicy coated, because they'll hug and he'll like rub his neck against her neck, and then she's like, oh, my legs are like jello, and he like growls into her hair. You get like 3 of those scenes in 100 pages. That's the spice. These weirdly sexual hugs that are really awkward as well, because they don't really know each other. And he's like, well, I guess we should do this, right? And she's like, yeah, go ahead, just do it. And then he's like, I mean, okay, can I touch you now? And she's like, just touch me. And then they hug. So weird, so gross. You get 100 pages of that. They've agreed to be fake mates. You've got 100 pages of him putting his scent on her. And then there comes a scene where Noah meets Mackenzie's grandmother, because remember, Mackenzie kind of need to get a grandmother off her back. They meet for dinner. It's great. And they kiss at that dinner. And then Mackenzie's like, you know what we should do? Let's just hook up. Let's just do that. Because, fun fact, she's in Omega. Now, in werewolf lore, in this book specifically, Omegas are just this hyper-sexualized, spicy moment lover, you know? This extremely hot and ready Little Caesar's pizza for anybody at all times. That's how Omegas are perceived. Omegas are rare. Alphas are rare. They're apparently made for one another. And so Mackenzie's like, when am I ever going to meet an alpha again? When are you ever going to meet an omega again? This is supposed to be mind-bendingly awesome let's just do it. Let's just sprinkle a little bit of benefits in. And he's like, I don't think we should sprinkle in benefits. When's the last time we ever heard of an alpha and an omega hooking up? This could be detrimental to the space-time continuum. And she's like, just break my back. Let's just test the waters out. Let's go. And he pushes back a little bit more, and she's like, you're going to come into this house, and you're going to show me what's up. I heard that thing is thangin'. So she's excited. They get in there. Now let me tell you about the pure agony that dirty talk got me through. The pure agony I felt during these spicy scenes. You know what he told her? Do you know what this man told her? He said, call me Alpha. And you know what he called her? Oh, that's a good little omega. And you know what her internal monologue would say? She called herself a good girl. She would be doing a thing and she'd be like, I'm such a good girl for him. You know what else? So I'm a woman. I've got female body parts, right? There is a certain level of arousal that is just wild. What do you mean there's that much moisture? Girl, that's a yeast infection. You've got bacterial vaginosis. Go to the doctor. What do you mean? And you know what word they kept using to describe it? Slick. It makes me feel so, like, I didn't know that was a word we were using in literature, but we're using it here and it made me so uncomfortable. She would be like, oh, he's covered in my slick. Oh, he sees all of my slick. That word makes me uncomfortable. Her calling him Alpha was uncomfortable. Him being like, that's my good little Omega, that was uncomfortable. You know what else? She would literally, like, in the bedroom, talk like a Viking. Like a barbarian. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? The way her sentences were structured was like caveman speak. I have never in my life gotten a wienering so dastardly that I forgot about subject-verb agreement. This book was so horrible. They literally are like asking each other questions at one point to be like, hey, we're fake dating, we should get to know each other. And he was like, I'm a good doctor. And she was like, okay, something that doesn't have to do with your job. And he's like, I'm a good doctor. And he's like, what about you? And she was like, soup is my favorite food. They literally learned nothing else about each other for the rest of the book. Nothing else. The fact that she liked soup was all that he learned about her. And they had no other conversations about each other, getting to know each other. There was even a moment where it's supposed to be so cute because he takes her on a date, and guess what he gets her? Soup. And then they were just in love. Oh my goodness, this book was so bad. And I'm so angry that I did that. I'm so angry that is what I was gonna cancel this video. After the second time, you know what else? Not me saying you know what else again. You know what he said? He kept saying mine in his head. Like mine, omega, mine, omega, mine. Ew, 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 ew. I also hated that her struggle in life was I'm an omega, and omegas are the perfect sex dungeon companion, and everybody just knows me as the perfect little omega. Don't tell people. You don't have to tell anybody. Keep it a secret. Ew. Oh. So, I woke up this morning and I decided that I would start Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. I told myself I would read 2 chapters, and if I felt as uncomfortable as I did reading this one, I was done with the video. And this one's actually starting off pretty good. So this is the book that I told you is older. It was actually written in... First copy came out in the 2000s. So this started early 2000s, and you open up with Mercy, who is a mechanic. She is a shifter, and this is one of those books where it's written as like the secret fae world and the human world are at odds, and a lot of the religious figures and a lot of the spiritual figureheads in the human world are demonizing the fae world, and like the fae world government is doing what they can to sort of portray a story of fae that the humans can find more palatable. The main character, Mercy, she is a shifter, which does fall into the fae world. She's a little bit lesser known. She turns into a coyote. Well, one day she's working, and then a young boy comes in, and he looks a little hungry. He looks a little haggard, and he's like, "Hey, are you hiring anybody? Please tell me you need some work done. I can only take cash under the counter." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." She's got a soft spot. She feeds him. She's trying to take care of him. At the point that I just got to, she's headed back to her garage because she forgot something. And she hears voices in the back. It's the boy that she's taking care of. And she also hears like several other men saying, "You're going to come back with us. The tests were working. Come back to the lab." And the boy's like, "The tests were working. I'm not coming back with you. You can't make me." So Mercy's ready to fight. Right? So this book feels like I've got some crime solving, some actual plot is happening. Her neighbor is like the alpha wolf of the area. So I do think she and him will become a romantic item because she's the main character. He's a werewolf, of course. He's big and broody and dangerous. And I think I'm going to get minor smut in this one, but I think I'm going to get a plot line as well, which I need. I was going to start Bride, but I needed something else in the meantime before I dove into that. Now, those of you who are around and on the channel, if you remember my friend Jacob, I told him that I was reading werewolf smut, and he was like, "I've never read like a book centered around like romance and spice." And I was like, "Oh." And he was like, "Oh, great. I'm going to get this on Audible, and I'm going to listen to it while I do yard work today." So Jacob, my friend back in Colorado, is currently listening to Bride, his first ever contemporary romance. So I'm going to see how quickly I can smash through this, and then I'm going to get to Bride because I'm going to call him later to see just how he is doing. I desperately need to run to the store because I am out of softener, and I also need more coffee creamer. But then I'm going to get back and get into this. You know what else Jacob put on hold? Ice Planet Barbarians. Because Audible was like, "Oh, if you want to read this, you might want to read this," and told this man to get, and he was like, "What's this?" And he put it on hold. This man has never read a romance-centered book. He loves like really high fantasy. He reads like Game of Thrones. He loves himself a memoir. He is absolutely obsessed with Black authors and a lot of essays. He's reading a lot of that. Today he's reading Bride, and he might start Ice Planet Barbarians tomorrow. I am such a bad influence on him. So I need to crush through this so that we can get through Brides and we have something to talk about with Jacob later. Let's go run some errands first. Do you remember earlier when I was ready to cancel this entire video all because of Lana Ferguson's fake mate? You remember that? Yeah, I was a different person back then. I just finished Moon Called by Patricia Briggs. Now, if you can see the cover, I'll put this on the screen so you can see it a bit better. If you can see the cover of this book, I thought this played into the theme that I was going for, this smutty omegaverse type of thing. And I would just say that whoever designed this cover needs to be fired, because where I thought I was coming into something smutty and something raunchy, I instead got an urban fantasy that actually had very well thought out lore. And the smut and the romance was actually very much in the background of a story of getting to the bottom of what is essentially a mystery. So last time I talked to you, I had just started the book, and Mercy was in a situation where the boy that she had let in and she was taking care of and letting work in her garage, was being confronted by some men that were dropping hints and intonations of a lab and of testing and of where he had come from. And this story weaves itself into car chases, fights, werewolf fights, pack mentality, the hierarchy of several different packs and how that works around. And I would say that what really made this book enjoyable for me was our main character, Mercedes Thompson herself, because the way that she banters with other people, the way that she can take care of herself, the fact that she is a bad bee and she handles herself like this, I really enjoyed how she was written, because I think a lot of female characters that I get that are strong and independent are actually very annoying and quirky in a way that makes me dislike the independent FMC character. No, Mercy is that. She has a little bit of a history. She does come from a space where she had to run away from her past, and she is recreating herself and building herself up, and she's finding a community and finding people. And this was good. This was good. It becomes this huge story of a drug lord and evil sorcerers, and you really get to the bottom of who's doing what, who's the bad guy. There's a vampire over here, there's fae over here, there's a human over here, there's werewolves over here. Mercy's just in the mix of everything, just doing the best she can. I'm glad that this is the one I picked up after Fake Mate, because next I'm going into Bride by Ali Hazelwood. And I think if I had done Fake Mate and Bride back to back, there was potential for me to just be annoyed and hate everything that's happening. Patricia Briggs was a great palette cleanser. This is still a megaverse, there's still omegas, but I didn't get any smut. I got a well-deserved kiss, I got a cute date, I got some smoldering glances, I got some banter, but mostly I was focused on the action, the intrigue, urban fantasy. I enjoyed this. Is it a Pulitzer Prize winning enjoyment? Absolutely not. But Did I greatly enjoy my time? Was I on the edge of my seat? Did pages turn quickly? Yes, that did happen. This one is just a romancy type of time. I do believe this is a forced marriage or marriage of convenience between a vampire and a werewolf. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. I did tell you earlier that Jacob started it and he hasn't texted me back. I literally texted him like, how are you doing? Are we bad influences on Jacob, you guys? I'm gonna get into this. It is currently 5:30. He has to potty, so I'm gonna take him around the block while the rain has stopped. I'm on another storm warning, of course. It's Houston. I'm in storm season. And the rain just paused, so I'm gonna take him out quickly, and then I'm gonna come back and get into this. All right, back to the matter at hand. So you started your first smut, and it's bland? Are you saying it's bland because people's cheeks weren't out immediately, Jacob?
No, there's no cheeks out immediately. They tried to do this like Pulp Fiction thing where they start at like a further point in the story and then back up. It's just
like an everybody hates Chris moment? Like, I'm sure you wondered how I got here.
Yeah. Just like that. Where it's like, but it's like saying that they came literally at the wedding. And, there's all this animosity. There's all this animosity. And, like, everybody hates everybody. And nobody really, like, is putting up with the shit. And the guy is at the fucking altar growling at her. And for some reason, it starts off with her, like, telling this motherfucker she don't care to fucking getting wet. But obviously no fucking they at a church, you know what I'm saying? Like none of it, the both will believe me. And it's like they're trying to explain the backstory of vampires and Larkin. Like nobody's ever told that story before. Like we don't understand that vampires and werewolves don't like each other. Does that make sense?
Is there already, you know what she does that drives me crazy? So one thing that she does that always drives me crazy is it's like, we're enemies. But for some reason, the first time they make eye contact, it's immediately sexual. It's like, oh, did we forget that we're enemies?
Literally.
It's like, I hate this man. And then it's like his strong jaw and dark.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, all of that. That is exactly what happened while she was standing there. It was hate. She was like, why is this nigga looking at me like this? He looking like he want a slap box. While they thought woo. Everybody's kind of like tense. The situation is so tense that like they have to have humans doing security instead of them. Like it's a whole fucking shit that she be like talking about. But as she's standing there, and she's like, oh, he's so popular, we see Alpha. I heard Alpha like 20 times already in the first, I'm just over it. It's just,
You've got to at least make it to a sex scene, Jacob.
So maybe you can get the fucking. You understand? If I'm supposed to be making it to a sex scene, somebody needs to fuck.
You're 30 seconds in, Jacob. They just met each other.
Somebody needs to fuck. I'm just saying.
I feel like you came into this with Ice Planet Barbarian's energy, and you need to bring it down to a 4.
I'm saying, like, listen to what I'm telling you. I am not here for people, oh my God, thank God it's there. I am not here for people to look longingly and lustfully into each other's eyes in situations that don't make fucking sense. Why don't we start at the wedding? Why?
Jacob, we're building tension. She thinks it's cool. A little flashback. A little, I bet you're wondering how I got here.
No, I'm not. I bought Uncle called the bride. I assume somebody's getting fucking married.
I feel like you want it to be way more horny than it actually is. And you're only...
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Listen to me. Everybody's got to listen to me.
I'm listening.
I bought smut. I need 7 seconds of story. Somebody pull a dick out. Somebody pull it out. Somebody relieve a titty from this.
Jacob, you bought this one. This one is loving smut. You gotta at least know the people before you get to the spice.
Listen, I'm really just overdoing it. I really don't need no sex off top. Really, like, the storytelling is, I think the storytelling is better. Like, it's just brilliant. So they start out at the wedding, and then they kind of like backtrack a little bit to where like, she's at her job, so she has like a normal job, and apparently nobody knows she's a fucking vampire. So she's got a makeup artist and all sorts of shit. So she's at her job, and then like one of her dad's guards comes to collect her because of the fucking wedding at this human job. And I'm like, come on, man, like, do we really even have to fuck around with humans like that? Can we really just focus on the fucking story of the vampire and the werewolf? But if we get back to, hey, maybe, you know, I'm preparing for the wedding, I'm trying to know about this nigga, this whatever, like they did like a small little aside where the guy was somewhere and somebody rolled up on him and was like, hey, pretty much here's the dossier on this bitch. And he was like, nope, I don't even see it, we're going ahead and playing. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. That this person really might be like out here trying to do something for peace because apparently there was a big war, a lot of motherfuckers died when there was all this tension. Okay, let's explore that. Stop fucking putting me in stupid ass positions, hearing about her at a fucking job that I know we're not going to care about in 2 chapters, breaking into a fucking firewall that she named it, she's gone from the job now. Why did you waste any of this fucking time talking about this shit and she ain't even know nothing?
You know what I hate? Have you seen any blood drinking? Has there been blood drinking? Has there been gore? Have we turned into a werewolf? Okay, how do we feel about that? Because I don't like books where they're like, we're a vampire, and then you just kind of take their word for it, but you don't see no blood sucking. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
So again, like I'm in like chapter maybe 2.5, 3. I still expect to see somebody get the fuck killed.
And nobody has? These are some mundane ass vampires.
I'm trying to tell you, this bride, man, this bride.